Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So today's topic is about high availability. So when you attend for any interviews and any discussion when started for the applications, right? So the first question will come like, how is your application should be available? That means HA, how highly your application will be available to the users to avoid the downtimes at time, like when there is any spikes in the traffic, how your application is going to be react for the traffic, right? So whenever you start deploying, so I just start like and understand like what is an application first. So an application is in a software, as you know, when we build that application using the different programming language, and we'll start using that application to be deployed into um, either it should be a DevOps platform or you can go with the cloud environment, and your application will be deployed in the two ways. Like either it will be in the DevOps pipelines or else in the cloud we can deploy it, right? So on her, but how you're going to maintain the high availability? So that will be a big challenge for us as a DevOps engineers. How you're going to maintain your application high available. Okay. So at times you heard about the question will come like whether it is a 99.9% availability for the cloud applications itself, whether I have a 95.5% for applications. So this type of wordings and this type of numberings you can hear sometimes when you have any discussion call with the clients or the different application design topics and all. So let's discuss about what is high availability and how it is going to give such importance when you are building a system. So today's topic is like I'm just not going to be any favor into the development DevOps or into the cloud. I just want to tell you a generic high availability system, like how you're going to maintain that and what is actually high availability means. Because what are the parameters to be considered to make that application to be high available, right? Because when you start saying like my application is high available, what are the uh, what are the steps you are considering for doing the application to be high available, right? So in that, the first one is redundancy. That means duplicating critical components to prevent single point of failure. Like there is no repetition. Okay, there is no repetition of your components. For example, you designed a block of code or a chunk of code for doing an activity. You don't want to repeat that again and again because when you keep that one, that will make the redundancy or in your code. So to avoid that one, we can prevent that, and we can use a that will make it as a redundancy. Okay, that will call it as a redundancy. First, if you want to make your system to be highly available, first point is redundancy. Okay, the second one is load balancing. Okay, so how you are distributing your traffic. Okay, how you are distributing your traffic to the down the services across multiple servers to ensure stability. Okay, so that is your second point. Third point is auto scaling. Okay, this is like at times when there is any traffic spikes dynamically increased. Okay, so how your application or infrastructure is going to manage that traffic by dynamically adjusting the resources based on the performance. Okay, based on the defined performance provided for that infrastructure. For example, some peak hours will be there, like when it is started or night time, that peak hours will be there for the market, and how your application is going to take that peak amount of transactions. And early hours it will get reduced. So you have to reduce your the pressure on your load balancers or pressure on your servers at that time to reduce the cost of your servers. So that is the beauty of maintaining this auto scaling. Okay. So the next one is fault tolerance. Fault tolerance, like its system to be continuously operating without any failures. That we call it as a fault tolerance. So though anything is happening for your infrastructure, your system has to be run up, okay, without any downtime. So you have to maintain that fault tolerance. The last one is it's important one is monitoring. So monitoring and self healing. So it has to continuously track your system health and automatically recovering from the issues. So monitoring when you start, okay, when you have these things and all are very generic. The other 4 points what I was said is like when you start um, any project or any application deployments you do for the system, these 4 points are yes common. But the end monitoring for these things and all is very important. So monitoring is a very important piece and self-healing too. When you start doing these things and all, the what are the monitoring piece, what is the monitoring actions you are doing for your application is very important. Why? Because you are doing your applications and you are maintaining your auto scaling things and you are maintaining your uptimes also. But at times when there is any issue happens, it has to be alarm on time to you, like as an engineer, you should be aware like what is happening to your application. If that was missed, the use of the maintaining of this redundancy, load balancing, etc., will be no use. So monitoring is a very important thing when you need your high availability system. Okay, so these are the 5 important points, and then I hope you got it for this till time. Next, I'm going to show you something like let me show you. As you see in my video, like a previous one, I have deployed one application right from the Azure. Let me take you there. I'll show you with this example. Okay, so let me explain you this example of yeah. So here I'm just doing an application deployment. That is like I'm going to use a Python application, right? Just a Python base image, and I'm going to install the respective pip installs into that respective image and starting the Python. Okay. Once this Docker file is triggered, that application, the image, the container will start running, right? So same thing I'm doing for the red. So what is my end goal is like, whenever I started running this container, either it is in the Kubernetes or in the Docker, my application should be always run and healthy, right? So for that purpose, what I'm doing, either I can go for using a how here the question is like how my system is going to be running continuously. So that's why we are choosing a continuous integration, continuous deployment, right? Continuous integration is like, you know, whenever my new image developed and pushed to the repository, that has to be that this process is called that integration. As you know, when you start doing this one and you are sending that to that integration part, when that build started triggering, and it will push that image to the Docker hub with all the dependencies whatever we need for that image. So once you push that one, the CD part will start. That CD, we can deploy this image into the respective K8 service or AKS service, whatever we are choosing. This is an existing discussion, we have it multiple times. But the on whole, how I'm going to maintain a HA system for this complete CI/CD pipeline. So how I'm going to maintain it here is like I'm going to use I'm going to use a CI/CD, sorry, GitOps practice here. So what I'm going to do here is like I'm going to enable Argo CD here. Okay, Argo CD, and I'm installing the Argo CD inside this. Okay, this is an Argo CD component. I'm going to share this repository for you people also in this video, so you can try it on your mission also. I'm going to deploy that. Okay, deploying those applications, and I'll explain this to you for maintaining that continuous deployment also. So what I'm doing here is like, so if you follow it properly, I'm just choosing the environment, which environment I want to deploy. Because if one environment got successfully done, I can change that environment in the dynamically at the runtime to run it on the production also, right? So that's why these parameters will play a role for me. And then I'm going to create that image. Like if you have any new image will happen, I need to push that image to the Docker hub. So that action also I have automated here. And then finally, I need to deploy this application to the AKS, and this is happening. And whatever the image is available, it is going to use that image and run that service on play. So on whole, two things were happening here. One is creating that image, latest image, and pushing that image into Docker Hub. And second one is the deployment of that new image into that respective Kubernetes service also. So these two things were happening on fly. And at the same time, I'm going to enable those metrics also. Okay, so I will show you how I'm going to use this complete bring up of this application in the Kubernetes. And I'll show you a demo on that one. Let's jump into it. So now Where is my pipeline? This is my pipeline. Now I'm going to run this. Before that, let me check this pipeline. This is my one of my pipeline I ran previously. Let me edit this pipeline first. Um, okay. So for this deployment to this AKS one, I need to bring up the AKS service first. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the AKS service side by side in the Azure platform. I have already enabled one AKS service. Let me go to that service. Let me show you that also. So this is my Kubernetes dev cluster. I'm going to start this service now. And this is the latest, this is the latest one before version of Kubernetes is running with a single node, and all the respective namespaces, everything is already configured. But due to stopping of this Kubernetes service, none of the things are active now. Now, once it is come up healthy, we can see all the respective workloads inside the cluster. Just give some time for coming up this cluster. Workloads, because it is coming up. And once it is, before it is starting that, I'll tell you here what I'm planning to do here is like, so images are ready, and I just already pushed into the Docker Hub, as you know. So now I'm going to take these images and deploying into that AKS service. So this is like complete a CI/CD fashion. I'm doing it from this images to the Docker and Docker to the AKS service. Once it is deployed into AKS, I'm going to enable the metrics also, so that if there is any issue happen for this respective workloads here, okay, this metrics will pop up in my monitoring dashboard also. That is what I'm going to do it today. Let me see whether the server came up or not. Today is taking a little more time. Let's let's wait for some more time. Just a second. I think it started. Yeah, I think it is started. Connect. Okay. So if you want to use it from your Kubernetes, I mean like from the cloud shell, we can use it like this also. It's just an information when you want to connect it from now. But I'm going to use it from the Azure DevOps, right? So from there itself, it'll automatically connected, as I have connected already using a um, Kubernetes service connection that I have already explained in my previous video. You can just go through that. So finally, I got the cluster is back, and now you can see the workloads and default workloads, and the my testing, like the testing is my namespace. On top of that, I have deployed an application Flask app on the 4 days back. So this is in running state only. You can go and see it here. Okay. And mainly I want to show you here is the service. You click this, is showing you welcome to Smart DevOps. This is in the red color. So it is still coming because the just now the cluster is started. And also I have enabled the uh, just now I have enabled the Prometheus also, that is running behind. It will take some time to bring up all the deployments for that too. So before that, I want to show you how my application is actually highly available, right? So this is my red application. I want to make this application to be get deployed to the green one without any downtime. Okay, so that the change has to happen on fly without any disturbance of that application. Okay, just a very minimal example. Okay, first of all, understanding what are the things I'm going to do it here. So I'm going to do a small change, even that is actually from the repo itself. I'm doing it. For example, a developer want to push a new PR to the Git repository with the latest changes or something. What I want to do, what a developer will do, he will go inside to that respect to that application, and he will go to that K whatever that. Wait a second, which application it is? Testbook, yeah. Go inside, and it will go and see this image, and he will develop one latest changes for that application. Just imagine like that. And he want to do that one. But for now, what I'm doing here is like, I'm just doing a change in here itself, green. Okay. Just committing the change to the master branch. So now technically what is happened, the pipeline will start triggering. If you see this pipeline, the pipeline will start trigger and it will go through that deployment. So now what happened, the CI part is already completed, which is having the latest image. And now I'm going to change that image, like whatever the images I have from the red to green, green to red, I just want to change it. But technically in the live environment, what will happen, like these are the different versions will be there for an application. So those and applications will be deployed like a 1.2, 1.3 like that from the one version to the other version. So what will happen? So that deployment is like, just imagine, but this is a very simple example. I just tried to show you a demo, how to maintain a high availability thing. So now I change it to green, right? Let me see whether it is changed to green or anything failed. Where is that deployment part? Just a second, things are not coming up. Looks like I installed only the red again. Let me correct that one. Oh, sorry, this is my bad. I need to provide the proper image name. I just going to change it to green. Okay. So now I'm going to hit the commit, committed. Now again, the pipeline will start triggering. So this is going on and deployment is completed. Service also coming up now. Yeah, service also come up healthy. Now you can go and see the one. Yeah. So the change from the red to green, right? It doesn't took a less than a second, right? It is changed very quickly. So this is what an example of a high availability system. So the things what I did here is like, I'll just explain it to you in the first of all, and then I will tell you what are the monitoring things we can do here. So first of all, I developed images, Docker images, just a sample Docker images, and I developed that via Docker file. So Docker file ran it and it converted into a image, and then I use that as a, you can run it as a containers or pods, correct? So this is one process I already performed. I can consider this as a continuous integration, right? Now next part is what I have to do. I have to do the continuous deployment. So how that continuous deployment has to happen whenever there is any changes happen, right? Or here in the CD thing, whatever, if there is any changes happen to that respect to repo, right? The build has to trigger for doing that respect to deployment to the K8s cluster. Either it is an AKS here in this case. So that is the CD action. Here I am using, suppose if you want to use it, we can use Flux or Argo CD. So those are the auto CD, like automated CD deployments we can do using that one. But Azure is providing the service, like whatever we can do it. Once you have that Azure account, you can take that clone into your local and you can do the deployments also. So this is like the CI/CD part. I'm doing it on whole. I'm maintaining that application high availability without any things whatever I said previously, like that redundant, load balancing, auto scaling, fault tolerance, and monitoring and self-healing. Coming to this monitoring, I'll show you that monitoring aspect also I have enabled here. For this application, if you go inside, I'll show you. This is the workloads. So if you see this AMA metrics is like nothing but the Prometheus metrics. I'm just capturing for that also. And at the same time, if you want to enable metrics for your application, we can configure that also here. So it will monitor your CPU metrics, like those things and all from the Azure itself. Okay. So whenever the spikes comes, that will taken care of automatically. The auto scaler will take care of those things and all that I will show you here in the application scaling. Right now I didn't enable it, but auto scaling also we can enable it from the Azure, so that when there is any spike happen, if the CPU reaches the 50%, yes, we can able to do that also here itself. So this is about the building a high availability application, like without any downtime, and doing the changes very quickly on fly. So whenever there is any question like what is your application, is whether is your high availability means, make sure these 5 points in your mind and answer in your interview also. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.